The Q90T and Q95T are Samsung's 4K flagship televisions for the year 2020. There's a lot of confusion around these two models. Like, are they upgrades or are they just downgrades from last year's 2019 models? I'm here to give you the answers to those questions and give my first-hand overall impressions of the Q90T, so stay tuned. First off, I want to tell you that I'm not a professional TV reviewer. This is just the sole opinion of somebody who loves their TVs for video gaming and HDR movies. For this video, I used a Panasonic GX85 and an iPhone X to capture the footage. I don't have professional video lighting, so getting a true look of this TV is quite difficult. So take the footage that you see with a grain of salt, and try to listen more to what I tell you that I experienced. The main thing I want to focus on with this review is gaming and how it's going to perform for you. Because I know a lot of people are out there looking for TVs that support next-gen consoles. I'm here to say this does support the Microsoft Series X and Sony's PlayStation 5. It checks all the boxes for HDMI 2.1 support, and the only thing it's lacking is 8K. However, it does only have one port that supports the next-gen consoles, so if you do get both, you will have to swap out HDMI cables. The difference between the two models is the inclusion of the One Connect box on the Q95T. Really, that's it, they're the same TV. The TV features a direct full array backlight and boasts 2000 nits peak brightness. While not confirmed, it's suspected there's about 100 dimming zones in the TV. I didn't do any tests to verify this, as I don't have proper tests or equipment. But that is quite less than the flagship TV of last year, the Q90R. Though the Q90T and Q90R have a lot of similarities. They have the same stand in the US, and overall, they're very similar TVs. Outside of the dimming zones, there are actually a number of improvements to picture quality and features on the Q90T that the Q90R lack. The Q90T is actually meant to be a successor to the Q80R, but you'd be surprised at how close it comes to the Q90R. Having seen the Q80R in action last year a number of times, I can safely say that the Q90T is far and away the better TV, and it's really not that close. So if you have the choice between the two, get the Q90T if they're the same price. Also, having seen the Q90R in action, I have to say it's closer than I first thought it would be. However, without being able to pit them against each other side by side, I can't really say which is better. I will say that the improvements on the local dimming algorithm are very noticeable. One huge con of last year's game mode in the Q90R was that it introduced a great amount of noticeable blooming, as well as washing out the picture in darker scenes. I can report that on the Q90T, this is not something that I noticed a ton of, and while in game mode, it still does introduce the occasional blooming on loading screens. That's about all that I really noticed. Otherwise, the picture in game mode still pops, it's very bright, and it has great contrast. That said, game mode still does turn off some processing, but overall, the picture quality still looks very similar to outside of game mode. In some instances, you might feel like the game isn't vibrant enough for you, so engaging contrast enhancer to low or high will add a much welcome punch to vibrant and colorful games. I did this while playing Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and I was really happy with the results. If you have auto motion off and all the other intense features off on the Samsung, you could probably play a lot of games outside of game mode without any real noticeable input lag. More on the response times later for inside of game mode. Samsung's 2020 lineup has a really cool feature. It's called Multi-View. It allows you to link a video from your phone to view side by side or picture in picture next to an HDMI input source. This can be really handy for people that want to watch video podcasts while casually gaming, or somebody who wants to follow a walkthrough for a game they're stuck on. This is by far one of my favorite features added to TVs in a while, and I will be using this feature a ton. I also wanted to note that this has Apple AirPlay support, and that's really cool to see as well. Samsung's Q90T sound quality is excellent. I put it up against a $200 soundbar, and overall I like the dimensional depth of the sound, and the Q90T stock speakers are just great. The only thing it's missing is just a little more low end, but I think most people are going to be fine with the speakers on this TV. And unless you're an audiophile, there's probably no need to add a soundbar or a whole sound system. I even listened to it up against my own setup, which is a Sonos Beam, and outside of the low end, it came really close to matching it. At times, I preferred the way the Q90T sounded to the Beam alone. Okay, let's get back to gaming. As I was saying earlier, fans of console gaming who are in the market for a TV that could take full advantage of the PS5 and Xbox Series X will be pleased to know that this TV does do that. 4K 120Hz gaming and VRR support, along with FreeSync Premium. For those that don't know, FreeSync Premium comes with a feature called LFC. LFC means low frame rate compensation. It allows for smooth playback on 30 frame per second games. So if you want to play legacy titles on your new console, this is a really important feature to have to eliminate stutters and tears. This is also great when gaming on PCs. So having this support is awesome. Overall, I have to say gaming is excellent on this TV. With FreeSync engaged, this is the smoothest gaming I've felt on a TV. You rarely see frames drop, you never witness tearing, and you hardly ever see stuttering. The latency in game mode is around 9 milliseconds, which is really excellent. With Game Motion Plus engaged, it goes up to around 24 milliseconds, but that's still doable. The picture quality on this TV is probably the best picture quality I've witnessed on a 4K TV. The colors pop and have depth to them, almost like a three-dimensional look. On one demo that I was watching, there was a spider and it almost looked like I could reach out and touch it. Not that I'd ever want to do that, I'm just saying. And overall, I'd say the color and picture clarity is noticeably better than the Q90R and the Q80R of last year. I wanted to mention that I'm coming from a LG B7 OLED. The main reason I wanted to upgrade to a new TV was for the HDMI 2.1 features. But another reason was because I watched a lot of HDR content, played a lot of games that were also in HDR, and they're supposed to be bright and vibrant. And with the OLED, I don't know if it was just my model, but I didn't feel as if the colors popped enough for me. See, LG OLEDs have an auto brightness limiter which can sometimes trip up HDR gaming and really HDR in general. Although overall it's a fantastic TV, and it has the best black levels I've ever seen in a TV due to the technology, I hoped for a lot more sometimes. The HDR content just didn't give me what I was looking for most of the time. Having come from an OLED, the black levels were something that I thought I'd be missing a lot, but when I fired up the LG OLED black demo, I was pleased to see that this TV had inky blacks, great contrast when paired with bright colors, and really it's the best looking blacks I've seen on a QLED to date. Hopefully my footage that I tried to record can sort of display that somewhat, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up. Okay, let's briefly talk about HDR movies. When I first watched an HDR movie, I said to myself, oh, so this is what HDR is supposed to look like. The specular highlights really brighten the room and pop in explosions and fire scenes like you would expect them to. And sunlight just sort of blinds you sometimes. It's sort of cool. It's something I've never really kind of experienced with OLED, and I guess I was really missing it because I like it. However, if you're in the market for a TV, the QLED might not be for you. There's other options, there's OLEDs, and if you ask somebody, hey, what TV should I buy? I bet most people will tell you to buy an OLED. But it's important to understand the pros and cons of every TV. Each TV is going to do better things better than other TVs, you know? So under certain conditions, like a room lighting, and really what you prefer in a TV, because at the end of the day, it's what you want out of your TV, not what everybody else wants. So some people might be more into movies, Boy, I was wrong about QLEDs because this TV kind of blew me away and it sort of just blew my mind in general. Now, I'm not telling you to go buy this TV, but for me, I can definitely say it gets an A+. And I'll say this, when you're going to buy a TV, make sure you do your research first, and most of all, never take advice from salespeople. Let's think of TVs like flavors of ice cream. Everyone will eventually have their favorite flavor. I hope this review was useful. Feel free to drop any questions you have about this TV in the comments. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.